Good afternoon, everyone. Let's convene the June 5th meeting for the Council on Aging. First off, may we have the Pledge of Allegiance? Roberta, will you lead us?
Dave, I can't talk.
Oh, she can't talk. Oh, Lynn,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now they're going to wonder about that.
Oh, thank you, Lynn. I'm sorry Roberta is sort of having a bad voice right now. So, Francine, the roll call, please.
Commissioner Fotheringham.
Here.
Commissioner Grimm.
Available.
Commissioner Healy.
Here.
Commissioner Kopaz.
Here.
Commissioner Loomis.
Como siempre.
Commissioner Norkin.
Here.
Commissioner Shentes.
Here.
Commissioner Searden.
Here.
Commissioner Wing.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. Again, thanks for joining us, folks, here and those folks in TV land. This portion now will move on to item 4, public comments. And we do have one from someone who's been a familiar face here, Brenda Birdwell. What busy events are you going to tell us about that you're a part of?
Good afternoon. Happy June. Time for some gloom. We finally made it. So, my name is Brenda Birdwell. I'm a senior advocate for senior concerns, and my office is at the Goebel Active Community Center at 1385 East Jans Road. I work there with Betty Berry. Our phone number is 805-495-6250, and our Hodenkamp address, where our adult day center is 805-497-0189. Our website is www.seniorconcerns.org, and all of the information I'm going to share with you today can be found on the website. So the first thing that I wanted to do is thank everyone who was involved with our 20th annual Love Run, which was this past Sunday, and we had 1,500 people participate. So it was a great, great, great success. So thank everyone for their support. And silly me, I'm obviously out of shape, but I didn't realize a 5K was 3 miles. I kept going, where's the turnaround? Where's the turnaround? Where's the turnaround? But I'm still here, so I made it. The next thing that we have going on is there is a healthy living class that I facilitate. That it's a Stanford evidence-based class. It helps people cope with chronic conditions. We have one starting tomorrow at the Goebel Active Community Center. It's 6 weeks from 10 to 12:30, and there are some people in this room whose names I won't mention who have taken the class, and everyone who takes the class say that they benefit from it greatly. So there's still time to hop on board if you'd like to show up at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's a really great class. On June 12th, that's next Wednesday, Betty Berry is offering her ever-popular Will You Pass Your Next Driving Test seminar, and that's going to be at the Westlake Village Civic Center, 31200 East Oakcrest in Westlake from 1:30 to 3. The next big thing that we have going on now that we've survived volunteer appreciation, and the fashion show and Love Run is our Ultimate Dining Experience, which is the biggest fundraiser of the year, and it's fabulous. That's going to be September 15th, which is a Sunday at the Westlake Hyatt. If you've never been, you need to come because it's really fun. If you've been before, you know how much fun it is, so you're going to come back. And if you don't want to participate just for the fun of it and you want to help, we always have plenty of volunteer opportunities, and it's just a blast. And the thing that's really near to my heart is the Conejo Connections Resource Center has opened at the Oak Shopping Center. We are there Tuesday through Sunday from noon to 6. And we would love to see more people coming to get information. We would love to get additional volunteers, but we're just excited that the baby was born and it's not been too colicky so far. And just generally, we have, as community services, Betty Berry does a weekly column on Wednesdays in the Ventura County Star. for senior issues. She has question and answer format, plus happenings for things that are going on in the community. And Andrea Gallagher, who's the president of Senior Concerns, has a column twice a month in the Acorn. So again, my name is Brenda Birdwell. My number is 805-495-6250, and all the information is on the Senior Concerns website, www.seniorconcerns.org.
As always, thank you. Thank you, Brenda. And I'm glad to see you did survive your 5K. You are living well. Atta girl. I'd like to turn over the next subject to Lynn.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Grimm. We are on item 5, committee reports, and I am 5A, first at bat. The terribly confusing, unfortunately, title of this is California Telephone Assistance Program and California Caption Telephone Program. I'm not going to try to give you those acronyms, but I was startled out of my lunch today when I looked up on the screen during ABC 7's news. There was an ad for the California Telephone Access Program. And I love to be able to say, in the last century, and worse than that, probably almost a quarter of a century ago, a decision was made in this state to be sure that seniors are not isolated from the rest of the pack. So a couple of programs were generated, and they were funded and are funded in a couple of ways. One way is there's a little tiny thing on your telephone bill. If you take a look at it, a couple of pennies, that's part of the funding, and then there are other sources of funding. Okay, and what those programs aim to do is take care of anyone, not seniors, not kindergartners, not boomers, but anyone who has difficulties using a standard phone because of a difficulty in seeing, hearing, moving, speaking, or remembering. Now, if that doesn't pretty much encompass everybody in this room and everybody out in the TV audience, I don't know. What it aims to do is to keep you from saying, "Honey, I can't hear you. Will you speak a little bit louder, please?"
What'd you say?
Would you say that a little bit more, Sonny? There are a number of us probably out there. Thank you very much, Paul. I'm glad to see you laugh. Health is laughing back there at this. All of us, at one time or another, have difficulty hearing, seeing, operating the phones, and as the phones get smaller and the font type is a smaller font, it gets smaller, and so we have a lot of trouble. Good news. Anyone who has difficulty hearing, seeing, using, that applies to everyone, old, young, or not. But we're concentrating on seniors, and we're concentrating on our caregivers, can get a phone like this. And it lights up beautifully. And you will notice that it has, and I hope that it's coming through the TV audience. If not, you can go up on the website. I'll give it to you, and you can see for yourself. The numbers are all lighted up. That's very nice. And it turned off because it's searching for its base, and it feels a little bit lost. It has a gadget on it that has a RAM audio assist, which gives me 50 more dB to hear the dulcet tones of my grandchildren. Since they talk in a high shriek, it doesn't help much. But there's a button over here on this side that allows me to control tone. Now, part of the reason why I can't hear my wife, aside from my studied inattention to her, is the fact that her thank you, ladies, is the fact that her voice is higher. So what I can do is and I don't have any highs. I just sit there and boost the high overtones.
which is fine until somebody like Grimm or Silverberg, and some of you will remember Mel Silverberg from past times here, begin to talk at you, and the phone melts from the power of their voice. So you can do two things. You turn off the high power, and you turn off the low tones, and you can do that with your fingers on the phone. Okay, this is just one. There are more than 400 and some odd items that are mostly free for the taking. All it requires of us is to get medical okay and to present ourselves to people who are handing the items out, who will help us pick the ideal phone for us. You need to know that almost all of these things are free, with one exception. The California captioned telephone is mostly pay for. However, there is a free version if you go to the California Telephone Access Program. That's got you thoroughly confused. But the point is that there are now, as I said, a couple of dueling ads. I think it's because of the next thing I've got to tell you about. Let's see. On the 15th and the 22nd of this month, we've rounded up a gaggle of audiologists, and we will have them present at the Global Adult Community Center. And they will be there beginning at 10 o'clock in the morning, both of those Saturdays, and will stay until roughly 1:30. They are enabled to look at you, and if they look at you and say, "You, sir, look like you could use one of these phones," and you say, "Yeah, I've been having a little trouble with the buttons on mine," that's the qualifier. You may have to take a little tone-generated test where they run up and down a scale of tones, and I guarantee you, you will not be able to hear the high one, because most of us who are over the age of 40 can't. So, and they tell us, the folks of the one program that we're working with these Saturdays, that it ought to be quicker than In-N-Out hamburgers. You ought to be able to drive up, park, get in, see the audiologist, get a phone, and then get out in under 10 minutes. And I don't believe that, because it took me 4.5 hours to figure this one out for myself. But nevertheless, that is the plan. We plan to take care of you. The only thing that you, and I'm speaking to you in front of me, and the you in the television audience have got to do, is you have to present yourself there. That means get your caregiver, if you need one, to take you to Goebbels. If you are a boomer and you're not giving care to anybody, but you're still having trouble and you have to use this thing to hear what your significant other is saying, then get yourself down there and get a phone for yourself to use. You got to get there. We'll sign you up. If you haven't seen an audiologist already, we'll get you by an audiologist, and then the folks that have the phones will run you through the phone store that there's going to set up for us, and they'll get you fitted with a phone to suit you. Let's see, what else do you have to know? It's important for us to know how many folk are going to be there. And the reason is because if you see the TV ad, they show 5 or 6 different models of phones, all wonderful phones. You need to get a reservation through us, and I'll give you the phone number in a minute a couple of times. And that will allow the people that are bringing the phones up from Glendale and the helpers from all over Southern California to be able to get you the right phone and get you fitted to it, so it's one-stop shopping. The people in Glendale were wonderful when I got my phone, but it still took me about 4 hours to get it done, because it's a long trip through traffic from here to Glendale and back. So, here is what you really need to know, reminding Saturday the 15th and Saturday the 22nd, beginning at 10:30 in the morning and lasting until the early afternoon. at the Goebel Adult Community Center. Okay, that's almost everybody knows where that is. The CTAP, the California Telephone Access Program, will take place. You need to make a reservation, and this you're going to need to remember. Call 805-381-2744. That happens to be one of the phone numbers that is at Goebel. 381-2744. And the person at 381-2744 will accommodate you with an appointment time insofar as possible. It's really important for you to make that reservation ahead of time because we'll have to fit you in catch as catch can. And it's going to be a whole lot like a dentist's office. That means you could sit there for 42 hours and draw your Social Security before you get seen by anybody. Okay. It's going to be a great program. If you decide you need a caption telephone, you can get one free, easily, from the CTAP on the 15th. If you don't want to go to the trouble of making a phone call ahead of time to get connected, then you can go to another program and get on the internet, but you have to pay for that service. So there's something involved. But the caption telephone is available to everyone on a free basis, and it is available on both Saturdays, if that's what you want. That's the one that you see the little kid calling up saying, "Hi, Grandma. Mom wants to know if you can come to dinner on Monday night." You can, and you're watching her answer back. And she's not answering like she's hard of hearing either, by the way, but her hairdo is really good. Okay. I've used a lot of time. Yes, please, Andrea.
I wanted to mention, since you do have the audiologist there,
Yes.
but if you're physically challenged or limited in abilities for getting to a phone or holding a phone or anything, we do have the forms there. So you can pick up the form at the Goebel Adult Center to take to your own doctor to have that filled out that yes, that you are approved for such phone, and then you can still sign up so we kind of have an idea of how many people are coming to just get the phone. Or if you've already been approved by an audiologist or you're going to be seeing yours because they're a great friend and you've got the form, you can already be pre-approved and don't have to make the appointment to see the audiologist the day of. Just that we would still put you on the list to be able to go see the phones and be helped out that way as well.
That was very well done. Next time I'm not going to pay you $10 to bring it up. She's quite right. If you can get okayed ahead of time using your own medical personnel, and there's a whole bunch of them that can do it, and that's fine. That will shorten your time. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, go ahead, Roberta. Is there an online place that you can go to look at the phones before you go? That's probably a $15 question. Yes, there is. And here is the website, californiaphones.org. All one word, californiaphones.org. And you can navigate, and the website's fairly easy to use. That's good. Anything else? Okay, our next person in item 5 is going to be Commissioner Wing for Senior of the Year, item 5B.
Excuse me. We have a wonderful program on the 13th of this month. It's the Senior of the Year Dinner, which is our final big event, and it's a tremendous amount of fun and a wonderful, wonderful dinner. I'd like to introduce, well, I think we'll just leave it at that. We have a winner. Only the judges know who he is or her, and we are going to announce that on June 13th. Meanwhile, it's a secret, and if you want to find out, come on down. Welcome, all of you.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to add that we do have the tickets for the Senior of the Year at the Global Adult Center for $6. So come get your ticket. You'll have entertainment. You're going to have a great dinner from Stonefire Grill. And it's really fun to see all the men and women that have been nominated and what they do that is so phenomenal out in the community. So make sure you stop by the Global Adult Center and pick up your ticket so we know how much food to get. $6.
A great value. Thank you, Andrea. I just wanted to introduce the folks who are the nominees, just because you just can't talk enough about these folks and talk them up. So if you know them, come on out and support them. Millie Blaine, Toby Ho, Judy Johnson, Ron Schmidt, and our own Mel Silverberg. Congratulations, Mel.
Okay, Commissioner Grimm, it is back to you with liaison reports, item 6.
Thank you, Lynn. Liaison reports. The Caneo Senior Volunteer Program. Marty, there you are.
Mike?
It reminded you, but it didn't remind me. First of all, as you know, there's a proper way to dispose of a worn flag. And every year, the Eric Hubert Post 11395 of the Veterans of Foreign Wars actually conducts a service where they collect and dispose of the flag properly. And this year is going to be held on June the 14th at 10 o'clock under the oak tree in front of the City Hall here, right here. If you're unable to attend the ceremony on the 14th, you can place your flag in a repository located on the ground floor of the Civic Arts Plaza or the City Hall. Or there's a repository located in front of Supervisor Park's office, which is at 625 West Hillcrest Drive. The CSVP is helping out with Senior Concerns, recruiting volunteers for a program that they call Canine Concerns. Like, they're concerned about what happens to a owner's pet when that owner has to go to the hospital for temporarily for some period of time. Who takes care of that pet? Well, we're looking for volunteers who'd be willing to dog sit, be a foster parent to a dog that for a limited period of time. And if you're interested in doing that, you would have to call Brenda Birdwell, who told us her phone number was 805-495-6250. And finally, last but not least, CRPD is looking for a director for the CSVP program. The information is located on their website, which is crpd.org, and applications available on that website, and the closing date for those applications is Friday, June the 14th at 5 p.m.
Well, thank you for that last note. And it is really sad that we have to say that the opening is available, because our friend Cindy is going to be leaving us, and that's why the vacancy is available. She's certainly been an active, energetic, and enthusiastic director of that program, and certainly wish the next person the best of luck, because you've got some big shoes to fill. Thank you again, though, Marty. Ventura County Area on Aging. Okay, Nance, your turn in the barrel.
No, why don't you go next?
That's not like you, Nance. Come on. Come on. Folks, record this time in history. Am I? Oh, that's why you weren't ready. All right. Andrea, are you ready? I'm sorry. You can go.
Yes, I'm ready. have quite a few things coming up in June and for the rest of the summer, so I'm going to go through them pretty quickly. But before I even do that, any of the information, if you miss it or want more, please call us at 805-381-2744, or you can always go to the website www.crpd.org/GSAC. I was trying to put all those letters together and they weren't coming. So www.crpd.org/GSAC. All right, here we go. We've got Meet Me at the Movies. There's one actually today, but the next one will be June 19th, and it is called This Is 40. Brenda's Healthy Living class will be coming up and starting on Thursday, June 6th. And this Friday, we do have Senior Scam Stoppers, and this is with Senator Fran Pavley, Contractors State License Board, and supposedly the FDA is going to be coming as well. So all the subject matter and insight on anything that is out there on scams, whether it's your housing, food, just all the different stuff that's out there, contractors. There's a lot. Insurance, mail frauds, identity theft. They're going through the whole gamut and what's really out there. So definitely reserve your seat. They will have people from each one of those agencies and information. And they're also going to bring some coffee and some little sweets since it's so early in the morning because it's at 8 a.m. to 9:30. So, but definitely get your seat reserved. Please call us at the center. And then on June 10th, we have Dr. Ron Soderquist, and he's with the CLU Director of Counseling, former, and he's going to be talking about skills instead of pills. So ways that you can do things and be able to utilize your mind rather than your drugs, solve common issues of insomnia and depression, and just some different things that you can try and do yourself instead of going straight to the pills. So that should be a good one. Of course, we've got the Senior of the Year coming up on Thursday the 13th. Don't forget the CTAP phone distribution event that Leonard was speaking of, because that will be a good one. And don't forget, we do have all those forms there if you want to do a preemptive strike and be able to just get your name on a list, come in and pick out a phone. Our water exercise class is back, and it's free. Starts on June 17th, runs through August 18th. So it's Mondays through Thursday. So Monday and Wednesday is at Thousand Oaks High School Pool, and Tuesday and Thursday will be at Newbury Park High School Pool, and that's from noon to 1. And then we have Dr. Brian Bashner, orthopedic surgeon, coming, and he's going to be there Tuesday, June 18th, and he's going to talk about degenerative arthritis of the knee and all the different new options, total, partial knee replacements, and just different things that are out there. And that's also sponsored by Livingston Memorial. So that'll be a good one, June 18th at 3:30. We have teamed up with UCLA Health in the area, so they are starting their Silver Speaker Series. And the first one will be Wednesday, June 19th, and it's Easy Nutrition. And that's for all of us age 50 plus. So we have Dr. Amy Lee coming, who is a nutritional medicine, and so she's going to provide some good common sense guidance, how to read your labels, how to make better food choices, important vitamins and minerals that we actually need because our body just constantly changes as we get older. And so our needs also change, and a lot of people don't know that, and different things with your own medicine. So that'll be a really good series. So please give us a call to sign up for that. And then on June 20th, we're going to have comedy for people 50 plus. So we're going to have Jillian Bennett, who's a comedian and also teaches. So she's going to go over different ways that you can use comedy in your everyday life as far as speaking or just wanting to be more comfortable at parties or to have that joke before the board meeting, all that kind of good stuff. So it should be a really good class. And seating is limited and tickets are $5. And then after that, if you so wish, she is going to be teaching a class at the Global Adult Center. So you could actually sign up afterwards for the class. And then June 29th, we always do barbecues throughout the summer, so it's back. Our first one's going to be June 29th from 4 to 5:30, and tickets are available for $7. And I'm going to go through some really cool classes besides all the really neat ones that we do all the time anyway. We're going to do a 5-ingredient cooking class, so those of you who really don't like to cook and don't want to shop, this is an easy way to Just use 5 ingredients or less and make some real fun dishes. It's only going to be like a 4-week class starting on July 10th. We are adding an aerobics and strength class, so that'll be doing aerobics, and we'll be using bands and or small hand weights to help build up bones and balance and whatnot. But then on top of that, we are going to have another class for that as well, and that'll be in the middle of the afternoon. So that's going to be strength and balance and core stuff. So those with more limited abilities, it'll be a really good class because you will be using the bands. She'll work a little bit one-on-one. It can be chair exercise. It could be some floor exercise. It all depends on your ability. So that'll be a class that's coming up as well. And then our antiques class, the comedy class, we've got a whole bunch of other technology things, and we're going to have a karaoke class. Oh, so that's going to start June 27th. And they're going to bring in the karaoke machine. They're going to go over some techniques of singing and kind of performing when you're out there. It's always one of those things that's fun and you want to do, and then you're kind of embarrassed, and then you kind of get a whole bunch of friends together and you try to hide in the background even though you still really want to do it. So that'll be a really fun class to come and do. Our yogas will still be going, then the strength and balance training, and some more Zumba. So those are the newer ones. And our new trips coming up, there will be Ventura County Fair, Grandparent and Me to Santa Barbara Zoo trip, Pageant of the Masters, and the Laughlin Luau Party. And all those will go on sale next Friday, June 14th. So again, if you need any information, call 805-381-2744. Does anybody have any questions? I know I rambled really quick.
Is that nutrition?
Andrea. Which one? Oh, with UCLA Health? That is going to be on June 19th, Wednesday, at 12:30 to 1:30. Yes?
This is just a personal aside. I've always wanted to take the Tai Chi class, and so I met and interviewed Toby Ho as the Senior of the Year nominee. And I can't even tell you, it's such a great class. I am totally uncoordinated. I mean, always have been. But you don't feel bad. So and it's really a good class for you, and it didn't seem to bother anybody that I didn't know what I was doing. So I would highly ask, it's 9:45 to 10:45 on Tuesday and Thursday.
Correct.
The gentleman who teaches it is super, and it's free. So there's nothing to lose on this class. It's really a neat experience.
And
I can go, anybody can go.
Yes, and actually with the Tai Chi class, like she was saying, you don't have to know the whole routine. You do pick it up. And actually, when in the fall, when that class really swells, when there's a bunch of new people, they'll actually go out back and work with you. But we have people that come in with walkers and with canes, and they go in the back, and they'll use their cane or walker for a little stability, or they're just using the back of a chair. So it does really help with your overall movement and your balance.
If you met the instructor, some of you probably know him, he has such a serenity about him that I think most all of us would just really aspire to having that. So if he gets that from Tai Chi, wow, it's worth coming to that free class for. So thanks, Andrea.
Thank you, Andrea, again. It does bother me a little bit, Nancy, because in one of your earlier lives, I thought you had to have coordination.
Never.
Really?
Never.
When you're directing people to a seat and pushing things up on the
No,
overhead?
I just had to be young and cute at that time. That was what was really important.
Some things never
That was
change.
the old days, yes. But I now remember, if you want me to do the VCAA.
All right, now that you've had a few moments to prepare, take it over to the VC AAA, please.
Simply because you had me out of order, Dave. I have cards in the back. Ventura County Area Agency on Aging is a county agency. Nick and I attend the meetings. They have, and they're not really so well known down in this area, but they have a huge amount of programs that are beneficial to seniors. They have a lot of nutritional programs. They have, and I assume this year we will be having it, the coupons for the farmers market, where you get a certain amount off for the farmers market. All you have to do is say to the representative who will be there that you are a low income. Nobody asks you how to do that or anything. June here has done it many times. They have a lot of other programs. The church I go to has gotten very involved in getting this information. I have little postcards in the back, and it's got all the programs, they have things with nutrition or that they can tell you about, guide you to. Nutrition, housekeeping for people. Now, there are a lot of times income qualifiers, but they just have a wonderful series of programs. It's Ventura County Area Agency on Aging. It is a county agency. Have the cards in the back. Take one home, give it to people. I've dropped them off at my doctor's offices. We also have them, as of last week, at the resource center. I had them. So please think about that as an option when you are looking for services in the county. Yes, Andrew.
With the farmers market and the coupon booklet, they used to distribute them out to the local centers. They do it at the farmers market, and each city has a specified day, but I know they go quickly. So if a farmer's market, I don't know, just say it opens at 3, I would be there at 3. Don't show up at 4 because they do run out of those quickly, and then people get upset.
June, do you by any chance know when it's going to be? Okay. Again, VCAA has their own website. If you have a computer, you can go on. All the information is there. It's just another option of things that are already available for us. So sometimes we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just look for what we have. And the postcards will have phone numbers and every different program that they have on there. So, okay. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Nancy. Thanks again. All right, moving on to item 7, commissioner comments, special events, announcements. Anybody want to lead off? This is commissioner's comments.
This is actually a personal comment. I just want to say, Cindy would kill me for doing this, but Cindy Power is leaving this area and moving to Long Beach with her family. She has made more difference in so many people's lives. Personally, when I retired, I always worked very hard to achieve a fairly okay spot. And so I thought, I'm going to die without working, and what am I going to do? And I really love being bossy. And so she sat with me, got me set up with the Ombudsman program, then with Council on Aging, with a number of things. So this woman has made a huge difference, not just in my life, but a lot of seniors' lives in this community. And she seems to know exactly what's the right kind of job for you. She doesn't place you in a job that would be too stressful, too boring. She is just the easiest person I think I have ever worked with in my whole life. And I have worked for 50-some years, a long time. And so she's wonderful. So I just want to say thank you for me personally, and I think for the senior community here for what this woman has done for Thousand Oaks. So.
Yeah, I know. Bravo and hear on that one. Thank you, Nance. Harry?
Yes. I don't know if people know it, but Jim Searden has decided not to run again for a seat on the Council of Aging. And I think we, the council, owe him a lot of thanks for the good work he's done in programming. It's been great. And I'd like to add this, that Jim is not lost to the adult community. He's taken on, or will be taking on, the presidency of the Global Senate Commission, a job I don't think I would run for, but he did. Thank you, Jim.
Anybody else now? I got a couple of things. Harry, Roberta, and Rita have put out another wonderfully entertaining and educational buzz, senior buzz. So I hope everybody is looking for that. They're available, of course, at the Global Center, but it covers a lot of things. It's not just reporting what has happened, but also looking at what's going to happen, things that are future events. So another wonderful addition. Roberta, Harry, and Rita, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Harry, we're going to need more at the Global Center. We're all gone.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I guess I want to add my thoughts about Jim. He has been instrumental, really, in transforming the Council on Aging from what it was before his chairmanship to what we have now. If you sort of think back, it wasn't even a debating society when Jim got involved. And he did this when we went through some fairly chaotic times with SAMP, as well as as I say, the transformation of the movement from just presenting to having panels, to having speakers, to having a lot of folks come up before us and bring us aware of so many things that we as seniors should be doing, could be doing, and it's through his guidance that we got to this point. Big Daddy has raised the bar as to what can and should be done in leading this organization. So, my thanks. Now that I've got through the hard one, Rita has not been with us too long, but she's not going to be with us next year. Even though it hasn't been a long time, she certainly made her presence known. And thank you for your service to our committee. Thank you. Thank you, Rita. All right. Now something I'm really proud of is having this time now to have our SAMP teams come up and talk about what they've done. To lead that off is Nick. Nick?
Thank you, Dave. Implementation of the Thousand Oaks Senior Adult Master Plan has been driven by 5 committees of volunteers who are going to describe what they've accomplished and what they're currently working on today. There are a couple other opportunities that you have for learning about these activities. Obviously, the best one is to come down and volunteer and join one of the committees and become hands-on. Another approach is to wait until October and we present our annual report to the City Council, which will be an abbreviated version of what you hear today. But we thought it might be more fun to allow the teams a little more time and a little more flexibility than they get in the council chambers and so forth to talk about what they've been engaged with. And so today I'd like to ask them, leading off with Brenda Birdwell of our Assistance and Volunteering Committee, to talk about what that committee's been up to. Brenda?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Brenda Birdwell, and I am the chair of the City of Thousand Oaks Council on Aging Senior Adult Master Plan Assistance and Volunteer Team. Say that 5 times fast. And what that means is that we opened, the ultimate goal was to open the Conejo Connections Resource Center. So the Senior Adult Master Plan in 2007, the city asked the Senior Adult Master Plan to do a survey to say what would it take for the City of Thousand Oaks to be senior friendly. And the results of the survey were that there were resources out there that people wanted to know about that were already there. They wanted to know about resources and they wanted to know about volunteer opportunities. So the Senior Adult Master Plan was approved in October 2009. There was a lot of negotiation going on about the best place to have the resource center. We wanted to have it at a place that was already public, where people were already going to be out and about doing things. There were a lot of recommendations, but the one that we really wanted as our first choice, and the one that stuck, was the Oak Shopping Center in Thousand Oaks. So the mission statement for the Resource Center was to provide a local resource center staffed by trained volunteers for the purpose of supporting Conejo Valley residents with information on community services and volunteer opportunities. This is a clip from the grand opening of the Resource Center. If I have a client who lives in New York who's worried about a loved one not having food on the table every day, he might call me and say, "Is there anything you can do for me?" And I'll say, "Of course. We have a Meals on Wheels program where somebody's going to deliver 2 freshly prepared, nutritious meals every single day except for Christmas." And they say, "You know, that's really great that they're going to have good food, but you mean somebody's going to check on my dad every single day?" It's a great solution for that. So what I know is there's people like that who know where to come that I can help.
What I can't do is help somebody who doesn't know there's a resource out there. But what if you happen to be at this beautiful Oak Shopping Center, shopping around, you're going to Macy's or Nordstrom's or wherever you might be going, and you walk by this booth and you say, Resource Center, maybe they could help me with the information that I'm looking for. So there's a Conejo connection. We have teens who aren't used to being around seniors because their grandparents might be in another state or another country even, so they don't really have a relationship with them. So we've also taken this as a multi-generational opportunity. We're partnering teen volunteers with senior volunteers. There's another Conejo connection. These people are retired master trainers, they're PhDs, they're published authors, they're masters in their field, they're representatives of other organizations that help with all things senior, and they have put hours of their time at the table to help make this all be together. So this is our gift to our community, our connection. So please help us spread the word about the Conejo Connections Resource Center.
This project has been a great experience for the youth. Being mentored by adults of this caliber and having the chance to work with an adult in the staffing desk is a wonderful opportunity. We are learning work ethics and other valuable skills for our future. In our database research, we have also learned a lot about what types of services are not only available for youth, but for citizens of all ages. I hope that more and more people learn about what we do and come to the center to ask us questions.
For over 40 years, it has been the mission of the Conejo Youth Employment Services to provide employment and other positive opportunities for our community's youth. Conejo Connections Resource Center is one of those positive opportunities. We were all inspired by the ideas and the suggestions voiced by the youth on how to improve their communities. We hope that the youth who volunteer for or use the services of Conejo Connections Resource Center will stay actively involved in their local communities in promoting an open dialogue between adults and youth, and will take some of their wonderful ideas and make them a true reality.
It's important for the district to partner with events and organizations like this. And I think the Conejo Connections Resource Center really typifies the things that this community is really about. It brings together an intergenerational mix. We've got youth from our Youth Commission in our community, we've got seniors from our Seniors Center, and we have everybody in between. The location of this center right outside the children's play area here at the Oaks Mall, I think, again, typifies what we're about.
Well, on behalf of the Oaks and Macerich, I just want to welcome Conejo Connections to the Oaks. We're blessed to be located in a community that's so full of active and passionate volunteers, as well as a supportive city government and agencies and businesses that can work together to bring something like this to our community.
Volunteerism and community participation play an important part in building the spirit of our community. The city of Thousand Oaks is a better place thanks to the tireless efforts of volunteers working throughout our community. We now have a central resource center where citizens, young and old and in between, can find answers to service, volunteer, event, and program information. Conejo Connections was initiated through research done by the Council on Aging and the Youth Commission through both Youth Master Plan and Senior Adult Master Plan. The teams developed the idea of a central resource center. Both teams found community partners and volunteers with expertise in many fields to bring it all together, and the City Council approved the project in September of last year. This is a great example of how connected and active our citizens, agencies, and businesses are. Thank you all for being part of this great community, and thank you for all the work that you do.
So I just want to make a distinction between the kind of requests we've gotten at the Resource Center. The reason that we wanted to be able to have the resource is to actually help people one-on-one if they had a need. So what we have here is 2 slides that just show so far from the March to April time period, the first month, the kinds of resources that we gave to people. So in the first month, we assisted over 150 people with true Resource Center requests. Additionally, you'll see here in that first month, we actually talked with over 700 people. We had over 150 people with true Resource Center requests and over 600 asking for information at the Resource Center for the Oaks Shopping Center. So a lot of people are getting a little bit confused about there not being more activity, but this is really a lot of people to stop by and ask for information. So the Resource Center is going to be in its certain form and shape with the partners involved until October of 2013. We know that we still need to continue to add information to the databases and get more volunteer opportunities to present to people. We want to help our other SAMP teams who are going to be talking here as well today. And we want to have a portable model that could be moved to other parts of the county and the country. I just want to take a moment to thank the partners that were involved in this endeavor. That would be the City of Thousand Oaks, Council on Aging and Youth Commission, the Conejo Youth Employment Services, Conejo Rexham Park District through the CSVB, Conejo Senior Volunteer Program, the Macerich Oaks Shopping Center Management, and Senior Concerns. So these are some of the friends from the grand opening, and now I'd like to turn it back over to Nick.
Thank you very much, Brenda. One of the lessons that I think we can learn from this is that the next time you ask yourself, why doesn't the Thousand Oaks have this service or this opportunity and so forth, the answer is maybe it does, and go down to the Conejo Connections in the Oaks Mall and ask them, rather than sort of kick yourself for why we're missing something and so forth, because that's the same process that many of us in the SAMP effort have gone through and so forth. There are many things that we didn't know existed until we got involved in a little bit more. Also, Brenda.
Through active, informed.
Oops. I was wondering if you could give us a phone number where if people wanted to volunteer for working in Conejo Connections and so forth, who should they contact?
If they want to volunteer for Conejo Connections Resource Center, they can call Stephanie Caffey, who's the Director of Volunteers for Senior Concerns. Her number is 805-497-0189, and she's also at the www.seniorconcerns.org website.
Thank you, Brenda. Okay, our next team that has what I'm told is a delightful presentation for you. I'm looking forward to it. Paul Knorr, who's the chairman of that committee, has teased us with this for several weeks now, and I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say. Paul?
Good afternoon, everyone. Very nice to be here. Council members, members of the audience, people at home. I've had the good fortune to be working on the health team, to be volunteering with the health team for a couple of years, and it's been a real pleasure to work with the members of the team. We had the ambition, actually we still have the ambition, to put together a video that would show some of the things we've been up to. And there were two real items that we wanted to accomplish. I mean, one is we wanted to show you and show people the programs we're actually involved in. But to me, even more importantly, we wanted to highlight the people. Because I think it is all about connections. We've been talking about connections already. And we have a lot of very skilled, very involved members of the community from many walks of life, who bring a lot of skill and a very impressive array of talent to the team. And we wanted to have a video that would show them talking in their own words about some of the things that motivate them, that bring them to the health team and how they're involved in the community. So with that, I would like to show you our video. Like I say, it's been an ambition, not quite ready for prime time. You'll see what you catch here. I'll have a few comments when we're done.
Thousand Oaks, California. Beautiful, serene, home to many cultural and community activities. It also has a very active and involved Council on Aging. This council oversees various teams who are charged with helping better the lives of our local older adults. The Senior Adult Master Plan Health Team was founded with the idea of developing and implementing plans for a variety of health-related topics. Since its inception, the SAMP Health Team vision has grown to not only address specific programs, but to promote healthy aging in the Conejo Valley. The mission of the health team is to create an environment which empowers older adults to thrive through active, informed, and engaged lifestyles. The health team advances its missions through 4 primary strategies: education, promoting movement, coordinating and encouraging access to necessary services and programs, and advocating for our local Conejo Valley-based older adults. Paul Knorr is the leader of the SAMP Health Team.
I've been a member of the health team for almost 2 years now, and during that time, it's been a real pleasure and inspiration to work with the other members of the team. The SAMP Health Team members are a diverse group of individuals from throughout our community, and they bring an impressive array of talents, skills, and life experiences to their work on the team. Some of them come from healthcare, some from senior services, public health, the financial world, education, the entertainment industry. Many of us are volunteers in other areas in the community, but we are all united in our passion for health and our specific passion for the health and well-being of older adults in our community. So what we would like to do is to introduce you to some of the individual members of the team, let them speak for themselves, and hear about some of the things that motivates them, and to also introduce you to some of the initiatives that our team has been involved in.
Ms. Carol Freeman, a local resident for over 47 years, has a background in nursing. She worked as a nurse at Los Robles Hospital and went on to become Director of Nursing and eventually Chief Executive Officer at USC's Norris Cancer Hospital.
I've spent my life in healthcare, starting as a nurse, progressing on through hospital work. And in the last several years of my career, I was involved in the senior world. I had lots of opportunity for seeing the positive and the negative sides of aging. Statistically, it's said that I'm going to live to be about 85, but I would like to live into my 90s so that I can see my granddaughters a little more. In order to do that and to have it as positive as possible, I decided I needed to know what I could do to manage my aging process as best as possible. As I worked with the Council on Aging in various other ways, and then eventually onto the health team, I thought to myself, well, if that's what I'm doing personally, then what should a community do, or could a community do, to make aging as positive as possible for the people who live here? Such things as walking. Everybody knows we should walk, but where do I find a walking program? How do I find a walking program? Or osteoporosis, one of those diseases that hits predominantly women, but all people as they age. Last fall, the health team put on a Fit to a T seminar, which talked about the detection, prevention, and treatment of osteoporosis. And this fall, in October, we're going to repeat that class. It was very popular last year. It will be popular again this year. I run a little high blood sugar from time to time. Not diabetes, not even quite pre-diabetes, but a little higher than maybe good. So I needed to find out for myself, what's my diet plan that I could do that might still permit me to have my important glass of wine now and then. You know, there are burdens with being young. There's burdens in youth, and there's burdens in aging. We just have to figure out what it is we do, what choices we make. The health team, Council on Aging, provides lots of opportunity for us to figure that out. So the Conejo Valley is great for living well and aging well. Just making the right choices is all up to us.
Miss Diane Sussman spent 30 years as a school business administrator working in various capacities. Diane is now a certified senior advisor and owner of Get My Ducks in a Row, a service company which helps seniors organize and manage their day-to-day financial affairs. This includes managing a budget, simplified bill paying, and avoiding financial abuse.
Hi, I belong to the health team because I believe in health involves the whole person. It involves medical, physical, mental, and social. As a baby boomer myself, I realize our population is growing in ways we never expected. We are living much longer than any of us ever envisioned. My desire is to help make these years as positive and as rewarding as possible. To do this, our senior population needs to know what is available and how to connect to the resources that are available in the Conejo Valley. I got involved with Conejo Walks, which is one of the team's recent initiatives, which we developed together with the members of the SAMP recreation team. We realized that walking could fulfill many of the health issues that were a team priority, such as encouraging active lifestyle and for focusing on wellness. Conejo Walks was therefore started to promote and encourage walking among the older adults in the Conejo Valley area. Conejo Walks was therefore started to promote and encourage walking among older adults in the Conejo Valley. The program's original focus was organizing unique walks, but it now has evolved to an advocate for walking. The program's original focus was on organizing unique walks, but it has evolved into acting as an advocate for walking and functioning as a clearinghouse for the information on local walking activities. Details of Conejo Walks can be found on our website, www.conejowalks.wordpress.com, or go by Global Center and get a copy that's already been printed out. Keep walking and enjoy life.
Miss Amy Gus has worked in the field of aging since 1993. With both bachelor's and master's degrees in the field of gerontology, she has the formal training to help address the social needs of older adults. Amy has lived in the Conejo Valley for the past 16 years and is owner and operator of 805 Aging.
Hi, I'm Amy Gus. I'm a geriatric care manager here specializing in the Conejo Valley. I was blessed enough to have had 4 very active and involved grandparents in my life through my adult teens. Those grandparents shaped who I am as an adult and the career path that I chose. I have both a bachelor's and a master's degree specializing in the field of gerontology. As a result, I am a firm believer that staying active, both mentally and physically, helps maintain and improves a senior's well-being and self-confidence. I am so happy to be a part of the health team and help create and implement programs to better the lives of our community-based older adults.
Miss Nancy Knutson is the community liaison with Buena Vista's Home Health, Palliative Care, and Hospice. She educates doctors and hospitals on the benefits of hospice while supporting patients and families. Nancy has worked within the senior care industry for 20 years and has resided in the area for the last 29.
Hello, my name is Nancy, and I have the good fortune of being a part of the Buena Vista Hospice team. I was born with a heart to love and care for people, so being a part of a team that provides home health, palliative care, and hospice care is a great fit for me. I also have a passion for educating people about hospice care and its benefits. Unfortunately, many people are afraid of it because they don't understand it. There's many myths, many misunderstandings about what hospice care is and what hospice care does. I would like to clear that up for as many people as I possibly. You know, hospice truly is the most loving thing when the time is appropriate. And yes, it is end-of-life care. But when you're going through that most difficult transition, to be able to have a team of doctors, nurses, social workers, volunteers to help meet the emotional needs, the spiritual needs, the physical needs is tremendously beneficial. And even the family members benefit when their loved one is on hospice because their emotional needs and their concerns are being addressed as well. So that being said, I would love to invite you all to our 8th annual Butterfly Release. It is an amazing event. We will be releasing 900 monarch butterflies. It's going to be July 13th, 10 o'clock, Triumphal Canyon Park. And also I just wanted to add too that Buena Vista Hospice takes on a very holistic approach. We believe that the comfort of the mind and the soul is every bit as important as the comfort of the body. So I thank you for your time, and have a great day.
Paul Knorr is a retirement financial planner in Thousand Oaks. He works with baby boomers and older adults, helping them manage their financial and life planning questions, issues, and concerns. Paul has had a lifelong passion and interest in health and wellness. His health credentials and professional background include being a wellness coach, shiatsu bodywork therapist, and an instructor in Qigong and in mindfulness meditation.
It's a little abrupt ending, and I thank your patience for watching that. But even though obviously very rough throughout a lot of it, I hope you got the opportunity to see a lot of the real passions and varied interests of people on the team. And that's what we wanted to show. Would like to show it in a more polished manner, but there it is. So we're happy to have that. The concluding part of the video, which got lost somewhere, we don't know where it went. We wanted to talk about upcoming things we're working on. One of the things has already been mentioned very thoroughly here. Commissioner Loomis was mentioning the CTAP program. We have a number of people on our team very actively working with Len on that program. We also have another subcommittee of our team working on an educational seminar series which we are planning, that we want to have an ongoing rotation of seminars in the Conejo Valley to fill in perhaps whatever whatever needs aren't being addressed for education information for any issues of interest for the health of older adults. We are continuing the Conejo Walks program. We are rebooting that. You'll hear more about that in the future. And we'll leave it with that. So very nice to have this time to share this with you. And again, thank you for your patience viewing our video. Believe it or not, a lot of effort went into that. It was hard to do.
Thank you, Paul. It was a great video. I was a little concerned when you said this wasn't quite ready for prime time because I thought this was prime time. But our next team, led by Russ Watson, is the housing team and so forth. So I'll let Russ carry it away.
Commissioners, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Russ Watson. I'm the team leader for your Senior Adult Master Plan housing team. I've served on this team pretty much since its inception, although the first few years I was the city's staff liaison representation to the team. And about 7 months ago or so, had the opportunity to fulfill the role of team leader. Our team is made up of a number of interest, not only landlord, urban planning, representation from the housing authority, from many mansions, from health care facilities, as well as realtors and individuals that just title themselves as community representatives. Our team has been pretty cohesive from year to year. And I think we have actually accomplished a lot over the last few years. And as we prepared for this presentation, as well as our upcoming report in assistance to the City Council on Aging to the City Council, we will be making further recommendations and such on some of the items we have been looking at. Just sort of the reminder of what the population census for the Thousand Oaks area looks like. This is based on data that was presented to the Council on Aging last year. You know, boomers are broken down into various age groups, the seniors and the under. But what it really breaks down to, in terms of the issue that we look at, not only the Council on Aging, but specifically the housing team in its effort to look at the options that might be available. Seniors are almost 13% of our demographic, and boomers are about 28%. And of that 28%, a large portion are over 60. And you know, I like to put they celebrate to be another day that a boomer now becomes a senior, just because that is what's happening in our, not only our community, but within the framework of the state and the nation. Our goals for last year were to obtain additional housing data as it related to seniors, to initiate new and enhanced partnerships and other housing options, and develop interagency relationships in research of housing options, including co-housing, home sharing, secondary dwelling units, and even home modifications, although not listed on here. That is something we have looked at, even to the extent that one of our team representatives went through that process of her own home and did some modifications and has some firsthand information as to what the opportunities and issues are. Our accomplishments for this year in terms of the first goal, although bled over from a prior year, our team put a lot of effort into sort of doing a single-story housing survey. Part of the purpose of that resource is to understand what types of housing units are within the community that might be senior-friendly, depending on need of home modifications and or the larger ranch-style homes that might have an opportunity for seniors to consider as a place to live in the future. We are in the process of pulling together information regarding apartments, which apartment complexes might be considered senior-friendly, have elevators, have appropriate ground level apartments, and we are actually in the process of putting together sort of a checklist of materials that we would identify senior-friendly complexes. And one of the things we looked at very close also was transportation. In part to work cooperatively with the other teams, but also to provide information as to where the bus systems are, where the logistics of the neighborhoods are, albeit on this particular graphic. You may not see it completely, but there is a version of this that also has the topographical areas so that we can understand where bus stops are and in the future in relationship to apartments or neighborhoods that have a predominance of single-family residences, as well as just, you know, what might make sense for any changes or locations for additional senior housing. Our second goal was accomplished with respect to our support of the Mini Mansion Senior Housing Project that recently was considered and approved by the City Council with respect to allowing that project to move forward. It's an 80-unit project proposed for along Hillcrest. The City Council ultimately approved to expedite a processing of that, as well as provided about $2 million in funding. What we saw was our role in that is that Mini Mansions, in their effort to gain support, spoke to many community groups as well as the housing team, and it also made a presentation to the Council on Aging. Council on Aging and the housing team jointly provided a support letter to the City Council, and we saw that as our implementation of what we would want to do to support projects that provide senior housing options. This particular project has a number of hurdles yet to go through. It will be considered again in the fall by the City Planning Commission, assuming approval of that process as well as the various funding layers that will be necessary. Hopefully by sometime within 2014, this project would be under construction to provide additional 80 units. And I see that Council on Aging as well as the housing team continuing our support for that project. Some of the housing options that we have taken a look at is co-housing. Co-housing, although it probably does not have an immediate place in our community at the moment, but when the right opportunity comes, I think we would be interested in looking further into it. It's probably best described, and I don't mean to demean it, but it's best described as somewhat almost as a commune, whereby you'd have a central place where people gather, and then you'd have individual units that do not necessarily have full kitchens and such that people would reside in. And it's the motto of co-housing is that of a ownership. It has a lot of complexities to it, but we think at least gaining information for the Council on Aging is something important, so that if the opportunity to provide that type of housing, we would at least have that resource available. We've worked most recently a lot with HomeShare. We, in fact, initiated a sort of a pilot program whereby we put some interest cards locations at the Global Center and actually have had some individuals fill them out, whether they have a home or are looking for a place to share a home. Our role is not to be the matchmakers of an opportunity like that, and nor do we see that we would ever want to be that. But we've had the opportunity to talk with the Ventura HomeShare as well as Affordable Living for the Aging and gain more information, and I believe that it will probably become a further priority for us, as well as recommendations to the Council on Aging as to how to support a program like that on the eastern Ventura County area. The Ventura HomeShare, because of their funding, is fairly limited to the western portions of the county, and clearly implementation of a program like that is something that would require a funding source as well as a probably an entity that is not directly connected to the city or Council on Aging, or specifically our team. But we are doing quite a bit of research on how to make that work. Secondary dwelling units, as I had mentioned before, is an opportunity for the granny flat is one definition of that, to be applied to existing units. So that people have the opportunity to bring in their aging parent or live in a place to assist their aging parent. One of our team members had firsthand experience as to how to make that work. One of the things we are doing as a team, looking at what other cities have been doing with respect to that program, and get to a point where we'll find the best practices in Ventura County and bring that forward at some point. Village to Village is a concept that we had listed as an opportunity to look at. It could also be described as a neighbor to neighbor. We have a strong interest in continuing it, but we don't view it as necessarily a housing program. We view it more as a support network for individuals to stay in their home longer. And although there's a lot of interest in it from other teams as well as other areas in the community, I think our team will continue its interest and be supportive the best we can for a program and project like that. Our action items, we have not developed our recommendations yet. We will move forward with those as we get closer to your October presentation to the City Council. Continue to gather the relevant information, support proposals for senior projects that make sense, develop new goals, and also then to consider, other housing options that we may want to move forward. I think what we really want to do, though, is when we work on efforts, and I think all SAMP teams want to do this, to focus our volunteer hours on information that's useful to the Council on Aging, city staff, city council, and then also the community seniors. Our housing team meets the first Tuesday of every month at the Area Housing Authority at 8:30, and guests are welcome. With that, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Russ. I was struck by your comment that every day we get a new senior in Thousand Oaks, and I was comparing that with your statistic that 28% of the people in our community are boomers, and by my math, that comes out to about 5 new seniors a day. So I think you're
at least
being
one.
a little shy in that regard. But okay, our next team is the recreation team, which is co-led by Annette Broershama, and she will tell us a little bit about what the recreation team's up to. Thanks.
Hello, I am Annette Broersma, and I'm the co-team leader of recreation with Allison Barnes, who could not be here today. If she were here, she'd be doing this, not because she's better at it or would want to. She would not want to, and I would make her grow and stretch, and she would have to do it. But she did put together the PowerPoint, so my speech may have nothing to do with what's up there, so bear with me. Anyway, I'll try to follow along. The first thing you should know is that we created a little, I guess I'd call it a mascot for our team. Underdog is our mascot because we are small, unassuming, but mighty. And as such, we have decided to go for some short-term solutions to some problems we found. Number one, we wanted to remove barriers. We found that there are not only space, but location and ability limitations for a lot of seniors. So we worked very closely with the Park and Rec, with Andrea here, and I'll get more into all the solutions she has come up with us. But the first thing was to offer classes in other areas. We've determined that we want to also look at what are boomers going to need in the next 10 years. We're looking a lot at forward thinking, doing a lot of research. We've started an actual survey that we're doing one-on-one with people who are more my age, the boomer ages, and seeing where do we want to be and how do we stay ahead of this recreationally. So we came up with some new courses, some crazy fun things, and some trial offerings. I'm not ready yet, don't worry. No, not ready yet, not ready yet. Stop it, I'll tell you. We wanted to encourage and a third thing we were really interested in doing was we found that a lot of recreation wasn't focusing enough on the exercise portion. Exercise, as we probably should all know, is the number one deterrent to Alzheimer's or any sort of dementia. So if that's true, we really ought to all be pushing that, 99% of the time. And so we felt that recreation needed to have a little more emphasis there, and I thank Andrea for making sure that's happening. And then increasing participation in those areas. So now we're here, that's fine. So we also wanted to make sure that people who are shut-ins at home, maybe receiving Meals on Wheels, people who have walkers and canes, and maybe really can't get out to classes, would have a way to find out, what do I do? How can I stay fit in my own home or in a limited capacity? So we are offering an adaptive exercise class. It's actually just a workshop. They can come, they can be assessed by Donald at the Reserve where I work, so I could twist his arm and make him do this. And he was happy to do so because we found that there are videos out there. There are alternative sorts of privatized programs that could work for people. And even if we can't provide everything to everyone, but we can at least refer them and make sure everybody has a plan within their budget to get physical exercise. Okay, let's now go to slide. Yeah, there we go. We've done, I think Andrea and I don't know how many total seminars we've come up with between our team and her. I came up with 7 or more even this year. And a lot of them are very new, innovative, fun, super fun, as I would say, because Jim Searden here was in one of them. We did one on Showbiz After 60, we had over 200 people show up. Don't tell the fire marshal. But that was because it was something people found of interest, and it stimulated them, and it got them out. And that's kind of where we're headed and where we're looking recreationally, is what isn't already being done. So this one, do you think that's funny? Actually, the name of it, next slide, is Comedy for People 50 Plus. You already heard Andrea talk about that earlier. That class is going to be, that's the seminar. It'll be followed up by the class. And we also are looking at making that multi-generational. So I think Francine and I have discussed doing a version of this for the teens, and then doing an interactive stand-up comedy night later in the year or next year. Just trying to blend that other part that we're all looking to create. And I thank Jim for encouraging that on with us. Okay, the next one would be, yes, the fitness classes that Andrea has come up with. Now, she also, I think I saw 8 new classes that she highlighted for me on this sheet that came from our team working together with her and trying to think of these new things and new activities. And thank you for doing that. And finally, so next slide, our big push now, and it will be in August, so I won't be able to report on this until the next time I see you all. But we're going to do the Youth versus Experience Tennis Tournament. Now, this is an event that previously existed. It's been dormant for 10 years. It was begun by a man in the Pacific Palisades who is one of the top 2 70 and over players in the country, maybe in the world. And the idea is to have the 10 and unders playing 70 and overs and the 12 and unders playing 60 and overs. And it actually is an incredibly competitive event. But it's a social event. Don't worry, Dave. No one gets hurt. We have umpires. We'll have ball kids. We'll be holding it at the Sunset Hills Country Club. And it will be something to highlight and celebrate the fact that a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old can walk out on a court and have a great experience. And, that's what we need. We need cradle to the grave physical exercise at whatever level you can do it. And it is competitive and interesting. So that's pretty much all I have for you today. I thank you for your time and any input. We're looking for more people on our team, so let us know. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Annette. That sounds like some tremendous opportunities for seniors in our communities, working not only with other seniors but also multi-generationally. Our final team is a transportation team, and team leader Sherry Phoenix will bring us up to date on what that team has been involved in.
Thank you. And of course, I just went and got a cookie. So I'm still chewing. So, as Nick said, I'm Sherry Phoenix. I'm the chair of the SAMPIC Transportation Committee. And I'm excited because 2 of our other 5 members are here today, so go team. Our committee's mission is to improve the quality of life for Thousand Oaks seniors and all residents by advocating for enhancement and maintenance of our city's existing high-quality public transit. The committee is a collaborative effort among Thousand Oaks residents, the Council on Aging, and the 2 entities that comprise Thousand Oaks Transit, the city transit staff and the contractor, MV Transit. And, of course, ultimately, City Council makes the final decisions around our committee's brilliant recommendations. The members of Team Transportation are the reason our committee is successful at achieving so many goals year after year. We are small, but we are mighty and unrelenting. Donald Katz is one of 2 Thousand Oaks representatives on the county's Citizens Transportation Advisory Committee, or CTAC. His vote is instrumental in ensuring that city projects are funded by the Ventura County Transportation Commission. We are lucky to have 2 real-live experts on the committee, bus rider Jane Messier and dial-a-ride user Audrey Filoja. These 2 are our boots on the ground, our feet on the street, and they're making sure that we're keeping it real. Sandy Kane is our true and faithful meeting scribe. Without her, we'd have no meeting minutes to remind us of our accomplishments. Diane Hale is our newest member, and she has already demonstrated major recruitment skillage by bringing a guest to our last meeting. Finally, there's our ex officio members, Dave Grimm, he the man, who is our Council on Aging liaison, Mike Hauser, the City Transportation Manager, and Cheryl Seifert, the manager of MV Transit, which is the contractor that runs Thousand Oaks Transit. 4 years ago, the Transportation Committee established an initial set of 13 goals to address the top transit needs identified by seniors and baby boomers in a 2008 citywide survey. As our committee has worked to achieve these goals and identify new ones, we came to realize that there's a common thread running through all of them. We must raise awareness and educate everyone about the excellent public transit already in place here in TO. That way, people know that if or when the time comes that they no longer have access to a private car, they have options, and they don't have to be housebound and isolated. Recognizing that this has to be an ongoing priority, we focused our attention and energy this year on bringing transit information workshops to the community. Our message is that it's surprisingly easy and affordable to take the bus. And if you're a senior or a person with a disability who cannot use fixed route transit, or the big bus, as I like to call it, you can apply for an ADA card. ADA refers to the Americans with Disabilities Act. And, if approved, you can become a Dial-A-Ride user. We decided to offer workshops every quarter at the Goebel Adult Community Center. And, of course, they are free. Our committee planned and implemented the workshop and asked the good folks at Mobility Management Partners, or MMP, who provide free one-on-one training in taking the bus or Dial-A-Ride, to be our presenters. They graciously agreed. So, it turns out the first workshop was, shall we say, sparsely attended. Hindsight is 20/20, and I can see clearly that fools rushed in, where sensible angels would have waited a little longer before they came clomping in. In other words, while we did a great job planning the workshop, if I do say so myself, we were so eager to launch the project that we set the date very early in the new year, and we didn't really give ourselves enough time to promote it. There were 7 attendees. 7. And there were 4 committee members and our 2 presenters from MMP, meaning the organizers almost had the audience outnumbered. On the bright side, when the evaluations came back, all 7 participants rated the workshop very good to excellent. Well, after that lackluster performance, we knew we had to roll up our sleeves to make the second workshop more successful. We didn't set it on cruise control. Instead, we launched a publicity campaign a good 2 months in advance of the May workshop. Pioneer women Jane and Sandy did all the legwork, and they worked their buns off. They drove all over town delivering flyers and posters to locations like the library and the transportation center, mobile home parks, and apartment complexes for mature residents. Our PR campaign included appearances at 2 Council on Aging meetings. Desperate to grab people's attention, Jane and I stood at the podium at the May meeting of the Council on Aging and did a bit that was blatantly stolen from David Letterman, called the Top 10 Reasons to Use Public Transit. We're still a little concerned we're going to get hit with a lawsuit, because I'm really sure that Letterman is worried about being replaced by us. We were that funny, is what nobody said. So, like today, maybe not all the jokes landed, but you've got to admit these are legitimately good reasons to use public transit. For example, if you're an environmentalist, you'll love the idea of lightening the load on the freeway and on Mother Earth. And if you're looking to directly benefit yourself, check out the many ways you'll save money and use your time more wisely. If you're a social person, there's a whole community of like-minded bus riders out there just waiting to meet you. Honestly, the hermit lifestyle is overrated. So say goodbye to loneliness and isolation and hello to an expanded circle of friends. Now, these are perhaps the two most practical reasons. If you have a Thousand Oaks Dial-A-Ride card, which you can get for just $4 if you're 65 or older, or if you have an ADA card, you can ride the bus for free. And if, for whatever reason, you've had to hang up your car keys, the bus is a great way to still get out and about in the community and enjoy a vibrant life. Oh, we added a few new elements to the second workshop. For example, snacks. Come on, the workshop is free and there are snacks. Why would anybody not go? Tricia and Allison from MMP returned to talk about the various modes of transportation in the county. They also touted their company's free travel training program. Again with the word free. How can you say no? In which they work one-on-one with individuals who want to learn to use public transit. Here's what they do. One of the travel trainers will come to your house. You tell him or her what a favorite or common destination of yours is. The trainer explains the trip up front, and then the two of you will ride together on the bus or on Dial-A-Ride to and from your chosen location. They will do this with you as many times as it takes until you feel comfortable doing it on your own. And did I mention that it's free? Sandy and Jane's PR push really paid off. We went from 7 people at our first workshop to 36 at our second one. That's a 400% increase. We literally couldn't fit enough chairs in the room for everyone. So Jane and Sandy gave up their chairs and held up the walls instead. This may be my favorite slide. It's Mike Hauser, TO Transit Manager, holding a sign. This is why he makes the big bucks. Those signs don't just hold themselves, you know. Okay, they do hold themselves out on the road, but not in meeting rooms. Trish and Allison compiled a list of the stores, restaurants, and other destinations along each of the 4 bus routes. Here he is again, Mr. Popularity. Mike was mobbed with questions about the transit system and its policies. Several audience members also put in requests, such as a bus route to Kaiser and Woodland Hills, which, by the way, was already an actual thing several years ago. But sadly, so few people used it that the route folded within a few months. Anyway, Mike patiently explained that there's only so much money in the city budget and that the city council has to focus on what's needed by the vast majority of the community in general. So not everybody is going to get the request. By the way, if you'd like to have input into the transportation system in Thousand Oaks, see me after the meeting and I'll give you information about when and where our committee meets. The audience was really engaged and had lots of great questions. Mike and the MMP presenters spent so much time fielding questions that Trish and Allison had to cut short their PowerPoint presentation. Here's our own Jane giving a testimonial for MMP's free travel training service. She told the audience she learned a lot and gained the confidence to use the bus to get all over town. In fact, she took the bus here today. She now voluntarily takes the bus, even though she can still drive and even has a car that sometimes runs. Everyone received several handouts, including the latest bus schedule from TO Transit. And as soon as you give handouts, nobody listens to you talk anymore. Here's another fun element we added this time around. We took a field trip. Every single seat on the bus was full. 26 people hopped on board, which is far more than we expected. And yes, what you've heard is true. The wheels on the bus do go round and round. Craig, our friendly neighborhood bus driver, took a minute to welcome everyone and map out the abbreviated journey that our special bus would be taking that day. Cheryl Seifert, MV Transit Manager, went along for the ride and answered questions en route. Allison Hughes from MMP practiced her bus surfing while answering questions as well. I learned subway surfing is what they call it in Europe when you stand up on the subway while it's moving. So I thought bus surfing. Yeah. First and only stop, the transportation center. Most of the people in our group got off the bus and went into the center to see what all you could do there. Mike met us at the center since the bus was full. He showed folks around the lobby and described how to buy passes and transfer to other routes or to other lines, such as Vista. A couple of people tested out the friendly staff person at the window, and she passed with flying colors. Mike is justifiably proud of all the bells and whistles that the center offers to make your trip a pleasant and expedient one. This slide is self-explanatory if you like my sense of humor. See the Wi-Fi sign in the back over his shoulder? And if you don't like my sense of humor, well, I'm almost done, so hang in there. After the bus left the transportation center, it drove by the bus stop at the Oaks Mall, which is one of just 2 places in Thousand Oaks where you can transfer to Vista, the intercity bus service that connects the cities of Ventura, Santa Barbara, and Los Angeles counties. The bus then turned around and headed back to the Goebel Center, where bus riders had one last opportunity to practice getting off the bus using the bus ramp in the front or the steps in the center rear. The entire trip took about 35 minutes. Our goal was to demystify the transportation system, and people indicated that we were successful. In fact, several people signed up that day for MMP's one-on-one travel training. So that's our biggest accomplishment this year, but it's not our only one. Now, I'm not saying transportation is the most critical part of living independently as we age, but it is integral to the other key elements of a healthy, enjoyable life. These elements align with the other 4 SAMP committee's areas of interest. Once you've secured affordable, accessible housing for yourself, you've got to be able to leave, go out into the world, and return home. To attend to your health and well-being, you need to be able to get to and from the doctor's office, the pharmacy, or exercise classes. Want to be a do-gooder and volunteer in the community? Are you keeping your mind alert and with it by engaging in recreational activities? Well, great. And how are you going to get to all these places? So we decided we needed to interface with the other SAMP teams. This spring, we kicked off an ambassador program between the SAMP committees. Jane, who I now believe has cloned herself, or else how could she be in so many places at once, has begun attending other committees' meetings. Thanks to Jane and Russ Watson, we're already seeing the start of a beautiful friendship with the housing team. It's important that all the committees become interconnected so we can be as collaborative and effective as possible. Oh no, I froze. Thank you. Talk about a cliffhanger. Suspense was killing you, wasn't it? Thousand Oaks finally got a second representative, and yes, we are on the right slide, and an alternate on CTAC, the Citizens Transportation Advisory Committee. This was an important achievement because city projects are approved by vote at CTAC meetings, and when a city only has half its allotted representation, it's likely that fewer of its projects will be approved by CTAC and go on to funding and completion. Education and raising awareness about our public transit system remains at the forefront of our annual efforts. Full disclosure, there are some unmet needs from past years that remain unresolved, although we haven't given up on them. Our city really, really needs a 5th bus route to take the pressure off the green route so it can make its rounds faster and people won't have to wait 90 minutes for the next bus to come along. Also, residents want and need weekend bus service. Plenty of carless people work on the weekend or need to go grocery shopping or want to have a night out. Shop local is a great motto, but if people can't get to the local shops, the concept isn't working. And this is my personal goal. We need contiguous service among East County cities. That is, people should be able to take the bus or dial-a-ride from Thousand Oaks to Simi or Moore Park or Camarillo without having to transfer. And those cities should be willing to bring our residents back home without making them transfer. The 4 city transportation managers have been in talks around the subject for some time, which is a sign of progress. And it looks like it may actually happen in my lifetime that people who have an ADA card, that is, people with disabilities who cannot use the fixed route bus, will be able to take dial-a-ride from one city to another without having to transfer at the city line. It's a good start. And I want to commend Mike Hauser for his efforts to collaborate with the other transportation managers, some of whom were less than eager to embrace this concept. But if you rely on public transportation to get around, you know that that's still not enough. So we will continue to push for a future where Thousand Oaks citizens who don't drive, but who need to get from one city to another without spending all day getting there, can actually do it. Finally, and I mean it, this really is the last slide. Yay. We are looking for a few good volunteers to join our committee. With just 6 members, we are the little engine that could. But we'd love more people to join us in brainstorming solutions and then in making them happen. Because we have such a good working relationship with city staff, we're able to really get things done. So if you'd like to see Thousand Oaks transportation function even better, join Team Transit. We're fun, we're full of ideas, and we're impactful. We meet here at City Hall in the Oak Room next door on the 3rd Thursday of every month from 8:30 a.m. to 10. For more information, call me, Sherry, at 805-402-5744 or Jane Messier at 805-492-9096. Didn't know I was going to give out your phone number, did you, Jane? Surprise. Sorry. Thank you, commissioners and audience here and at home, for your time.
Thank you, Sherry. I'm truly shocked that free Wi-Fi didn't make the list of top 10 reasons to take the bus. You don't need to leave your social media at home. And I want to congratulate all of our teams for their accomplishments over the past few years, working on the various SAMP initiatives. And I want to publicly thank all the volunteers that are involved. And as several of our team leaders have suggested, if you want to join their teams, please get a hold of them. If you don't remember the team leader's name or didn't get contact information, the easiest way to do that is through our Council on Aging liaison, Francine Spriegel. You want to give contact information to Francine for 805-381-7362. So with that, I'll turn the meeting back over to Dave.
Well, there you have it, Thousand Oaks. You've seen some wonderful, energetic volunteers, people involved in making the quality of life for seniors so much better than it has been. I do want to congratulate Nick as a leader of the Oversight Committee for SAMP for getting this set up and really displaying what these wonderful folks have done over the past year and what we look to do in the future. And that future can include you, as Nick said. Please join us. We're looking for new ideas, not just new bodies. We're looking for some new ideas. Well, I know this is our last meeting. We're going to go dark over the summer, but as you can gather, SAMP will continue. We'll be active, and so there's no better time to join than now. So please keep us in mind. When the summer doldrums come, you've got someone you can join to get active again. Anything else, my friends? Thank you again, commissioners. Have a good summer. Thanks so much, folks.